Sports Express Show. We're going to catch up now on the latest from the Uefa Champions League. Some European football, Mr. Melane. It's done now for this year. The Uefa Champions League is done. Group stages are done and dusted.
Yeah.
Looking forward to the last 16.
Yeah, it's been entertaining as usual.
Yeah. Never disappoints.
Yeah, never disappoints. Surprise packages, but we'll get into that right now. I'm very happy with the outcome.
Last 16 teams left. We're going to start with the Tuesday night game. So
Yes.
Liverpool were one of the few big teams that went into the last match day without guaranteed qualification for the last 16. So they're up against a very tricky side, against Salzburg in a very, very entertaining game. It was 2-0 at the end. We got that clean sheet, but Salzburg were a very, very tricky side.
Look, that team has been very impressive this season. Love the way they play, and
I
think they are a neutral's dream. They just high pace, high octane youngsters just going in, and
no fear.
No fear whatsoever. And you guys, as soon as the whistle went, they were already in your box. There was no.
That was crazy.
That's the nice thing about youngsters. They're naive. They don't really respect who you are. They just go at it. So it was a really tricky affair for you guys. But you managed to weather the storm and you won 2-0.
Reminded me a bit of the Ajax team from last season.
Yeah.
A fearless young Ajax side who are not scared of anyone, going toe to toe with anyone.
Yeah.
I think Salzburg were a bit like that, just maybe lacking a bit of talent in the right areas of the field.
Yeah, look, I don't think the problem is the talent with Salzburg. I think it's the experience, like closing out a game, knowing when to do something at the right time. Because everything is about timing, as people will know. Everything's about timing. So even in the first match that you guys had played, where you guys had beat them, I think they failed to recognize when to close out that game, or they became nervous. So it was that lack of experience that they had that made them lose that game as well. So I just think if they can show up the experience, get either one or two more experienced players into their squad, I think will bring a certain level of settlement.
That's if they don't get dismantled.
I hope they don't get dismantled, but let's be honest, the way they were playing, it's highly possible. And we'll see how
they're going to be playing Europa League football next year. Right, so that's going to be very good for them in terms of their experience.
Yes, definitely. They got to be one team to watch out for. I feel that they should go far, but we'll keep an eye out. We know how football can be a really funny game. So
on the flip side of the group, Napoli also qualified. Napoli having a very torrid time at the moment. Sacked Carlo Ancelotti only to appoint Gattuso. Tell me how that makes sense. Anyway, Napoli are also through to the last 16.
Look, they were very nervy as well. Like we said, that group was
won 4-0 though, and they sacked the guy after winning.
And what makes it worse is that there were talks anyway before the game that it might.
So it's the league form that got Ancelotti sacked.
Yeah, it's the league form and the actual argument that he had, not him personally, but the players were with him going against the chairman of the actual club. It's just one of the weirdest stories, really, to be honest with you. And I feel that his sacking was really unnecessary. But anyway, it happened. He won 4-0, or the team won 4-0, and then they sacked him. And that's basically it.
Yeah, we're going to see how they're going to fare out the next year in the Champions League. But another interesting group, of course, was the group that had Bayern Munich and Tottenham. They're both through to the last 16 of the Champions League. They played again last night. Bayern again outclassing Tottenham.
Look, Bayern, because of the pool of talent that they have, and I think them investing into youngsters, they have that mixture of experience and talent going forward. So it was an entertaining game. We couldn't expect much from the Tottenham team, given the experience that Bayern have at that stage and how big Bayern is. Well, whilst Tottenham are still trying to get to that level of being a top side within the
funny to say that because they're actually in the Champions League final last year. That's very funny to say.
But they're still not there yet. I think it was a fluke season for them, to be honest with you.
And Jose put a lot of second string players in that Bayern game.
So he recognized the situation. I mean, Sessegnon starting and even scoring crack of a goal. So he recognized the situation that, look, here's the outcome. Let me just let the Lighties enjoy themselves and see how it goes. So they threw, Bayern's through, so we're in for good. Last 16.
Biggest surprise package for the season so far is Atalanta of Italy. They in the last 16 as well, alongside Manchester City in their group.
Look, that's one team that came out of no way.
Absolutely.
I
they
didn't.
they were very good in Serie A last week, and rightly so. They finished in the top 4.
Yes.
But in the Champions League, no one actually saw them.
It's a different.
It was sort of like kind of a Leicester City kind of thing,
Yeah.
where they're in the Champions League and then just gonna compete.
Yeah, just hold a spot there, and then when the time comes, they just fold over. Look, the Champions League is a different ball game, absolute different ball game, because we're talking about the best of the best, and then as the stages progress, we're talking about the best of the best of the best. So it's one of those things where I didn't see it at all. I doubt that the majority of the people that we know or even watching will say, yeah, we saw Atalanta sneaking through. Nobody saw it, but a big congratulations to them. They throw some spice into the mix, and hopefully they can carry that through, and we'll see how they go.
Yeah, obviously went through alongside Manchester City, and a lot of big teams are going to be looking to draw Atalanta in the last 16.
Exactly.
I can bet you that.
Yeah, everybody will be happy, and whoever draws Atalanta, I'm like, yes. But that's also to their peril, because like we say, football is a funny game, man.
Yeah.
It's a funny game. So I just hope they don't underestimate Atalanta, and they thoroughly beat their opponent last night. I mean, 2-0 victory. So it wasn't just a fluke, it was something that they grinded out and they won. So I hope the future opponents against Atalanta do not take them lightly.
And the interesting thing about the Champions League draw in terms of the permutations, we have obviously the top teams will be playing a lot of teams that finished second. And if you look at this season's groups, a lot of top teams finished second in their group. So you have the likes of Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid who finished second. So you can possibly have matches like Liverpool against Atletico, Liverpool against Real Madrid. So it's actually looking very juicy for the last 16.
It's looking juicy. It's looking too juicy, too early.
Too early, yeah.
So
Borussia Dortmund also finished second in their group. That also puts them to either face one of the top teams.
Exactly. So it's gonna be tight, but this is what we watch football for. So we'll see. We'll see. I just hope the final is as juicy as the last 16 and so on and so forth. Because it'd be really disappointing if we get like Liverpool, Real Madrid, and then we get like in the final Dortmund and Atletico. No offense to those teams, but I'm not looking. Which fixture do you prefer? Kind of.
Yeah, we do want a blockbuster fixture, but at the end of the day, if you are in the final, it means that you did something special in that season. But we're going to speak about the disappointments of the groups. Some of the disappointment that came through. So the likes of Ajax, Inter Milan, going to the Europa League. Very disappointing on that front.
Look, especially Ajax.
And Inter actually.
No, but I would say more Ajax because they had that run and they kept their core group. Yes, they lost De Jong. Yes, they lost the Leipzig Juventus. I get it. Yes, I get that. But they still kept their core group, and you would have expected them to show the same disrespect that they showed last season. But I guess teams get more clever as the seasons go by. So I guess they read them and they were able to nullify them. With Inter, I will give them a little bit more slip than Ajax because new manager and all those things. So I think if it was the second season and it was the same result, then we have the right to tear Inter apart. But for now, I think, okay, it's disappointing. It's a big team with a big manager and big players. We get that. But let's also put into consideration and be reasonable that it's still within the first season.
And the most disappointing thing for Ajax is the possibility of losing even more players in the January window and also the summer window that's coming up. The likes of Van der Beek, Quincy Promes, a lot of teams are certain.
You know, but Ajax will always be under that threat. And I think even Van der Sar said, look, they've got a system in place to replace such circumstances. So hopefully they don't lose these players, hopefully they don't, but hopefully they've put things in place to make sure that if they do lose players, they bring some back in.
On the flip side, it also gives us a very interesting Europa League.
Yes, of course.
Because there's also Manchester United and Arsenal already in the Europa League. Incoming, the likes of Inter, Salzburg,
all these other
Ajax.
So it's now you actually have an excuse to watch the Europa League, because let's be honest, nobody's sitting up on a Thursday night watching.
No one's going to be watching Thursday.
Exactly. So now we have an excuse to actually see, how high octane this Europa League will be. I don't know who the winner will be, to be honest with you.
So you could have another situation that is similar to one that happened last season. The likes of Arsenal, Chelsea, all in the semi-final.
Yeah, it's very possible, and hopefully, all I'm saying is that let's have a jam-packed, action-packed last 16 with the UEFA and action-packed Europa as well.
Well,
Yeah,
that's it, man.
guys, thank you very much for tuning in again. Catch us next time, and make sure you like and subscribe and comment down as well. Tell us who you think is gonna win the actual Champions League. Tell us now, because I actually want to go bet now. If bastard. Anyway, check you next week, guys. Peace.